A good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos Parshas Chukas and Parshas Balak in Eretz Yisrael. Again, one of these Parshas where I have to find a place to straddle in between because we're dealing with two different Parshas. We have another couple of weeks like this, and then we'll lick this problem in that we come together in Parshas Devarim after Matas and Masei. But actually, there's something beautiful that ties us together. Not only this parsha, and this meaning whether you're in America or in Eretz Yisrael, the Eretz Yisrael parsha, the American parsha, and last week's parsha. Let's take a look. There is a Magen Avraham, one of the commentaries on the Shulchan Aruch, that brings down a sefer called Sefer Hagan, which says that if a person is having bad machshavas during davening, a person is having bad thoughts during davening, things aren't straight, things aren't coming through, he's not having kavanah, he's not able to concentrate, then he should say the word P 3 times, P, P, P. He gives an instruction of exactly how to say it by putting the tongue in between the lips, so it really comes out to be tu, and that's got its own stuff with it. But he says P, 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 which basically means mouth, mouth, mouth. He says that 3 times, and he'll be able to banish any bad thought that could possibly enter into his mind and to stand in the way of his tefillah, in the way of his davening. Very difficult to understand what that means. That sounds like some Kabbalistic kind of thing. You say the word P, you say the word mouth 3 times, and you're able to banish these bad thoughts. So it's Tzvi Hirsch of Zhitimer, who is quoted by the Bnei Yissaschar, at least explains to us, opens this up for us a little bit, and he says that the reason why you say the word P 3 times is because it reminds us of the 3 mouths, the 3 openings. The P ha'aretz, the opening of the earth, which was in the story of Korach. The P ha'be'er, which is in the story of Parshas Chukas, the story of the well of Miriam, and the P ha'asain, the mouth of the asain, of the donkey, which was in the Parsha of Balak. And therefore, these 3 things, which happen to have been 3 things that were created on Erev Shabbos ben Hashmashos and Erev Shabbos, as Shabbos was about to begin, between the time the sun set and when the stars came out. So somehow, at least with this explanation of Tzvi Hirsch of Zhitimer, we understand that by making mention of Korach, Chukas, Balak, by making mention of the rebellion of Korach and the swallowing of the earth, by the well of Miriam and by the donkey of Bilam, the Parsha of Balak, in the story where Balak had in the Parsha of Balak. So then we understand that if a person mentions these 3 things, somehow he'll be able to banish all bad thoughts. Beautiful. At least we have a little bit of a pshat, a little bit of an understanding. That's what the Magen Avraham is saying. You're in the middle of davening, you grab the crazy thoughts, so then do a very simple thing. P, P, P. Remember these 3 stories. What does that mean? Why remember these 3 stories? So it's very important for us to understand that many things in this world have what's called a foundation, avos, like the main foundations. When it comes to the malachos of Shabbos, the works that we do on Shabbos, there are 39 avos malachos. There are 39 major works. There are 39 foundations of things that are prohibited on Shabbos. When we talk about damages, there are 4 damages, 4 major categories of damage. When it comes to negative traits, when it comes to bad midos, there are 3 roots of all bad midos. The 3 roots, kina, taiva, and kavod. Jealousy, lust, and a desire for honor. The Mishnah says that 3 things take a person out of this world: kina, taiva, and kavod. If a person's life is all about looking at what other people have, a person's life is filled with jealousy. If a person's life is filled with taivas, desires, trying to self-indulge and to fulfill themselves and fulfill their desires, a person is looking for kavod all over, is looking for honor, feels that they deserve all the honor in the world. This is the root. A little bit of a measure of this, a measure of this, a measure of this. A recipe of any of these 3 things together can destroy a person and take them out of the world. Therefore, we understand that any negative thought that a person has, its roots are from some combination of kina, taiva, and kavod. And if we look at these three stories of these three parshas, Korach, Chukas, and Balak, you see these three midos coming out in spades. In the story of Korach, you see that Korach had incredible jealousy, incredible kina. You see in the story of Chukas, in the story of the well of the water when Miriam died and there was no more water, it was all about, if you look at the complaints of the Jewish people, it was all about fulfilling their desires. It was all about their taivas, their desires, their lusts. And if you look at the story of Balak, where Bilam wouldn't go and then would go, and it was all ultimately about the kavod, about the honor of Bilam. Kina in Parshas Korach. Taiva, lust, in Parshas Chukas. Kavod, in Parshas Balak. And what's happening is that in each of these parshos, there is a P, there is a mouth that is calling out to us so strongly. In Parshas Korach, it's Pi Haaretz, it's the mouth of the earth that's calling out to us to run away from kina, run away from jealousy, because look at how it consumes and look at how it destroys. The only thing that's left after you have jealousy is emptiness and being swallowed up by the earth. In Parshas Chukas, the Pi HaBe'er, the mouth of the well, calls out to us and says to us, stop filling our lives with taivas, with desires. Don't you see it's all in vain? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you anything and everything. He can even give you water from a rock. Stop desiring and lusting and looking for your own indulgences and taking care of yourself. And then in Parshas Balak, the Pi Ha'asain, the mouth of the donkey, calls out to Bilam and tells him, stop running after kavod. Stop spending so much time looking for your honor. Because even a donkey can see more and do more and understand more than you. A person is beset with bad thoughts. A person is taken over by kina, taiva, and kavod, by lust, by desire for honor, by jealousies. Says the Magen Avraham, quoting the Sefer Agan, just say the word P 3 times. Remember that these are the roots of all the evil. And let those stories, let Parshas Korach, let Parshas Chukas, let Parshas Balak call out to you and remind you that these are empty and they're nothing. And it'll allow you to banish these thoughts and to bring back your concentration, bring back your kavana, because you're able to banish from your life this kina, this taiva, and this kavod. And in these three parshos, this is what we have to be concentrating on. We have to be concentrating on the message of Parshas Korach. Look what jealousy can do to you. We have to concentrate in America on Parshas Chukas, in what can taiva do to you. And we have to concentrate in Eretz Yisrael, in Parshas Balak, what a desire for kavod can do for you. And whenever we're beset by evil thoughts, just mention P 3 times. Remember the Pi Haaretz, the opening of the mouth of the earth. The Pi Be'er, the opening of the mouth of the well. The Pi Ason, the opening of the mouth of the donkey. And we'll be able to banish completely from our minds the roots of negativity, our kina, our taiva, and our kavod, and restore our lives, our thoughts, our concentration, our good outlook, be able to restore that to ourselves, and to be able to restore some equilibrium back into our lives. That's the message that the Magen Avraham is trying to teach us. I think it's a stunning message, both for those in America and both for those in Eretz Yisrael, to give perspective on these three Parshas. We should have a beautiful, amazing, awesome Shabbos, a Shabbos that's free of kina, taiva, and kavod, and therefore filled with only machshavos tovos, filled only with the most beautiful of thoughts, and the most beautiful of outlooks, and the most beautiful of feelings. Have a beautiful Shabbos.